Hello everybody. So I am back to continue working on our still life painting. Let's get ourselves ready and situated. Right here we do have our still life set up, and we have also the colors and everything that we're going to use today. And we have acrylic paint that we're going to use, of course. And our acrylic paints are from different companies, but the brand that I do like is through Academy, as you can see here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start putting on our trays the colors that we are going to use today. And not only that, guys, I also want you to have your small, medium, and larger brushes available today. So we can put in a quarter size of alizarin crimson, okay? And I'm gonna move our stick here. This is my arm stick in case my arms get a little tired. I can lean on that. And we have our water jug ready and our paints ready, okay? The next color we're going to go with is the Phthalo Blue. Phthalo Blue has a really good saturated color of blue in it, and I like it. I love saturated colors. I really do. And then we're going to use our yellow ochre. So we're going with primary colors right now, red, yellow, and blue. But if you will notice, as we are going to be painting, we're going to be mixing all of the secondary colors and getting different shades and tints from them, okay? Let's go ahead and put some white over to the side. A little more than a quarter size of white because we might just be using a lot of that white color, okay? And for now, we're just going to leave off that burnt sienna. I mean, the burnt umber. But I do want you to put some burnt sienna over to the side. Now, if we need to, we'll go ahead and put that burnt umber on whenever we need to, especially to make different shades or darker. All right. Now, I want to start with our background first. All right. And this brush that we are going to use is a number 16 filbert. A number 16 filbert. All right. And if you sent an email to me, you got my Amazon link to the colors that, not to the colors, but to the brushes that I have ordered, okay? We have some greens in the oil, the blessed oil. We have some yellows in it. And our basic color for this lamp stand and lamp is really black and some of those brown tones. And so what I'm thinking about is going with some red violet, because this yellow greens are in here, and green and red is complementary, okay? And so I like the violet added in because the violet is complementary to the yellow, all right? So let's do that. Let's create us a beautiful red violet color, okay? So let's wet our brush real good, dab it on our paper towel. I keep my paper towel on my rag above me, but you can keep it below you, no problem. And what we're going to do is we're going to get some of our red first. All right, let's get our red and then a touch of that blue. You want more red than you want blue. And let's mix it up. And if it gets too dark with that much blue, don't try to add any red to it, okay? This is what I want you to do. You mix it up. Start over on this side, just using what's on your brush, and take more of that red and mix it into that. See how Now we have some different shades and tones of Red Violet. We got a darker one, and we have a lighter one. Then we have our blue by itself and our red by itself. I like to do that because that's wasting paint if you kind of put too much blue over there and you try to lighten it up. It's harder to lighten up a color than it is to darken the color, all right? And what we're going to do is we are going to start that in the middle part of the background. All right, I like that. I love that color. It's really grapey, okay? And I'm just going in the motion of the shade of the background that is already there, okay? But you want to know what I want to do? I want to take some white and I want to take some yellow, a little more white. And then I want to take some of that color, the red violet. I love that. And now I want to fade it too in the background because my light source was coming from the right. A little more white in there. You can do circular motions to get your color on real good. I want to get a little more yellow in there. All right. No, a little more white now. All right, there we go. Now, that's it right there. And that really looks like a nice glow from what will be a candle inside of the lantern. I like that idea. And if you can notice, I'm not really blending too much. You want to know why I'm not blending too much? Because I love, again, the brush strokes that are shown inside of a painting. I just do. All right. I'm going to keep that going. Now that light is coming from off to the right. I want a little more white up here in this area. I'm trying to also feel the majority of my canvas. And I'm going in this motion, like crisscross applesauce. Right, I taught elementary school for a number of years. And that's what we would say, crisscross applesauce. We're mixing this warm background color again, this candle background color. Candlelight. We're going to get really close to that lantern. We're also going to put some of that light color into the background, which is behind and inside the lantern, all right? Why would we do that? Because that background, we're working with clear glass, and that background shows through that clear back glass. Now, what I did was put that red violet into that warm glowing light. All right. Keep that going. What we have in our background, we must reflect in the inside of that glass. So be careful to do that. I love this color. It's nice and warm and inviting. It's like a when you light a candle and that warm light shines through on the wall. It does. It's just so beautiful. Get some water on your brush if everything starts to dry up a little too much on you. All right. And also, remember that we have our gel medium. I'm going to get that gel medium. And it's called the Retarder. gel medium. And what we can do is we can mix some of that gel medium into our paint. All right, so we have our gel medium, and it's the retarder. Where is that sign at? Retarder gel medium. Get you a fork or a spoon. Dip you some out of there and put on your tray. All right. Now, every color that we are mixing, we can apply it onto our canvas. Yeah. And it does help everything to glide. Number one, to glide smoothly. Number two, it allows you to be able to keep that color on that tray just a little bit longer. Why not, right? Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. A little more white coming, fading into that. I'm going to put my paint tray down and try to talk this through to you as I am painting. And you can actually see the colors down here that I am using as I'm painting so that you can keep up. Red Violet, and then the candle color is the white and a little bit of that yellow ochre. Take your time when you're going around those objects. Please do take your time, because you can accidentally get color into your object that you don't want. Now, if you notice on the highlight right there, I did put a little bit of that background color on the tip of the olive oil jar. And why did I do that? Because colors reflect on surfaces. Okay, colors reflect on surfaces. We're using some of those colors again from the background into our lamp. The blue violet is what I want to trim that shadow with. There we go. Soften it up just a little bit. There we go. You don't have to really overwhelm the clear object with a lot of color, but you do want it to stand out, because why? It is reflection from the background behind it. There we go. And hopefully today we can, get a lot done. But I don't want to really keep you too long, not longer than an hour and a half. What I'm doing is taking the blue by itself now, and then touch it, make a line, but then touch it with that red violet. Just a smidget of that, because I like different colors and shades. This is going on top of that dark umber brown. I like colors from the background to reflect on the objects. The blue violet hitting the edge of that dark brown with that really dark blue violet. Look at how that really allows that burnt umber to pop out some more. I always like to say that blacks reflect color. Black reflects color. And so if that was the case, then I would try my best to put color in the black. violets. Now you can almost get a true understanding. I'm switching over to a smaller brush now. Then I'm going to go back to that background. Getting my number 6. Now you can really understand and see why we did shades of the brown, okay? Because we establish our values, and now using color, we know the values of the colors that we're using. So that blue violet would be like the burnt umber that we put in, all right? And then lightening it up with the sienna. Sometimes it is all about value, color value, light value, dark values. And if you play with those values before you even start to paint with, let's just say painting still life objects, or even painting animals or portraits, it is somewhat a good idea to get yourself one white object, okay? One white object, and paint that white object using black and white only. I'm going to tell you the secret in that is because it will help you to learn how to see the darks and the lights in an object. Then you can easily add, okay? You can start adding color when you really get a handle of your values. All right? Get a little red violet right there. My sienna is really a value of that red violet, if you didn't notice that. I'm starting to wipe on my apron. That's why you did not see me reach above and paint on, use that rag, excuse me. Sometimes I get stuck with my words, especially when I'm painting. I'm using that red violet, and I'm using the red now. But don't worry, we're going to mix burnt umber with some blue. And we're going to make us a black. I'm going to put that purple in too. It's going to make so much more sense when we start to do it, I promise. A little more of the blues. And you notice we haven't even began to play with the greens of the olive oil. We haven't began to play with that yet. But trust me, it's going to be fun. Really, really fun. Getting some of those violets over here. In the different parts. I love how that red picks up. I really have not washed my brush at all, guys. I have not. And the reason that I haven't done so is because I still want this brush to pick up some of those reds with the violets on them, okay? Now we're going to get some of this yellow ochre by itself. Pull in a little white. And we're going to give some more glow to those highlights that are hitting on our lamp. You can see those in here really well. And basically every time I do that, I want to make sure that it's reflecting to, I don't want to put it right there, maybe right there, okay. Switching over to my big brush now. Gotta clean it off because I don't want that flicker to be too, let me bring this here down. My rag. Get some of my gel medium and blend the flicker of the highlight together. Just blend it together. If you see those brush strokes that are visible, then that's good. The only thing that I didn't want to be too blended is the highlight that is inside of that gorgeous oops, it's too strong, burnt sienna, yellow, and the red violet. I'll put that right up against this color here and over here. Go back over that with the warm light. It's looking great. So far I can see the light flickering that will be off in this lamp. All right, don't overdo it. Let's continue into the background, going down into the background here. We're going to really get some of those red violets. Those red violets in and blue violets. We're going to use less white as we're fading down, as we're going down into the foreground. Changing it, turning it into now more of blue violet, right down towards that bottom. Need some more crimson on my palette. And make sure that you're blending really well, okay guys? Acrylic paint on this canvas pad has a tendency to really gets stuck into that canvas pad. So make sure you're getting some nice blending going on. That's the blue violet, a little more blue than violet, than red. Be careful going along that shadow. Careful going along that shadow. I'm gonna get some of that burnt sienna now because I want to go into my shadow here. But I have to remember that going into my shadow has the reflective colors of the background. I don't like that. No yellow. Just a little bit. All right, yellow and white down in there. With somewhat of some naturalness. Get as close as you can. You can go off to the edge of that canvas paper if you need to. When you frame it or put it in a glass, or if you're shipping it off, that person that purchased it can frame it, and they won't feel obligated that, oh my goodness, I'm using too much of the artwork to mat it. Okay, going along this edge is really good up against the oil. Be really careful. You want it to transition smoothly from foreground to background, right? You don't want it to be like a rainbow or color stop every time a color transitions into another color. Now I am using still the same colors of the background to blend even in my darker areas. Now eventually when I get ready for my olive oil, I'll be putting some of those colors too into my background. Just a little hints of it, not a lot. Be careful. Stay consistent with your brush strokes. If you have a flickered type of technique, stick with that throughout the whole painting, even as you go toward the bottom. And the objects that I have are sitting on a book, but as of now I don't want to put that book. I might put some kind of reflection of the book maybe, but I'm not sure. I have to wait till I get there. I'll fix that a little bit. Right now I'm really liking everything but this area right here because it kind of looks a little muddy to me. So what I'm going to do is clean my brush off really good. I'm going to make the color of my background, again, this color right here. So just making that color of my background a little more white in that sienna and the white. Okay, sienna and the white. A hint of yellow ochre. There it is. A little more burnt sienna. Blend. You can blend on your palette, or some people just go blend on their canvas, especially if they already have the correct color that they want to use. Pulling some of that background color back into the lantern. You don't want too many colors, yet some colors, because there is a reflection, correct? Correct. A little more white. Don't forget to use your retarder gel. Does help the colors really glide smoothly together. White, yellow, burnt sienna, I'm making a good healthy amount of it right now. I'll put a little more white in it, right up in this area. I need a little more white. Might just make me another helping over there. As you notice, this paint palette got really, really, really colorful in such a short time. Let's pull some of that violet back over here. A little more red. You have to be careful with mixing your red violets because it can get green on you really quickly, okay? And we don't want that to happen. White. That natural glow coming through. Yellow. When the color dries, notice how I can go back on top of and Swiffer. I'm gonna use the word Swiffer, okay? And Swiffer you with that gel on top of making a nice transparent layer of light on top of the color that's underneath it. Gorgeous. And you can use that gel to help you glide and make that color transparent on top of it. It just really does help a lot. So I like this gel medium. I really do. And sometimes when I do a like a glaze, okay, this is very good for glazing. I think so. Okay, mix that background color, but I put a little more red in it. Some of that light coming through. Get back some more of that warm candle color. Put it over here. I love the warmth. This yellow ochre brings that warmth right back to that candle. Gorgeous, just gorgeous. Okay, get that background color right back up in here a little more. Grab some sienna. There we go. In this area right now, I'm just not knowing what I want to do. So I'm going to play around with the rest of the painting real quickly before I go in there. Let's glaze in some yellow ochre right there in that area. So I put a little yellow ochre with that glaze. Just throw in a little bit of violet. Just a little bit. And let's glaze. Yes. It's too much paint right there. Oops. And just get that glaze and spread it out. All right. That's exactly what we wanted right there. Now, the color transition is looking awesome. All right, we're getting a lot of those colors from here down in there and vice versa. I'm gonna glaze right here some of those red violets. Too much. Lift a little bit of that up. There we go. Okay, let's get a little lighter now. Whites and yellow ochre. Oops, too much yellow ochre. There we go. That's it. It's a beautiful day to paint today. But for me, every day is a beautiful day to paint. If I must say. I'm gonna fix that. But for now, I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna go back to my background color with some red violet, some gel. I'm going to get as close as you can to the edges so that when you do frame it, the color will be extended out into the background and you won't have to take to the store with you paint. Trying to do some touch-ups before they put a frame on it. That's not cool at all, right? And sometimes, no, I don't try to fill up the whole canvas with paint. If some of that canvas comes through, it's just a natural effect and I just let it happen, okay? Let's get that off of there. All right. I want to get that off of there and begin to, I had a clamp here. So now I want to get that clamp and take it away. Start adding some of these colors here. And for part 2 that was in, this is the burnt sienna that I'm pulling back into the background, okay guys? On part 2 when I did that video, guys, I did paint flat, or like I painted on my draft table that kind of the glass will come upward and on an angle. So when you see that tilt, all right, that's what I'm using. I'm not using this floor easel at all. All right, and so if you have a table to paint on, that's cool. And when you're doing those fine touch-up lines, it's easier to lay everything flat to do that than to paint like this frontal view on a nice easel. All right. Right now you see that I am pulling back in, glazing, medium and a little bit of that burnt sienna, but mostly that medium, okay? I'm coming in, that clear gel, I'm coming in now and starting to pull in some of the background color, which is that burnt sienna, and a tad bit of the white, all right? And the reason I'm doing that is so that the background looks really transparent with colors showing through what was already there, okay? It's very important to do that. All right. I'm going to do a little more glazing with that burnt sienna. It's a little more right up in here. A little less now. Just that much. There we go. Over to my right some. There we go. Pulling some of that background color into that light. Even down here in my shadow purple area. I'll pull some of that color, that background color in there. I don't even know what to name this. I'm really enjoying the light from it. I am. Get more of that color back on there. Remember, you want to keep it nice, smooth. Let's play with let's go ahead and get back over here and play with that side one for about 2 minutes. Let's get some red violets coming on in there. Okay, red violets it was. Yeah, that red violet really worked. Then some of that background color, that sienna, a little bit of white and that ochre. Let's see how that works for us. So far, so good, huh? A little more yellow ochre for the light. There it is. Gradually fading into that red violet. Gotta sneeze. Woohoo! Bless me. And as you notice, we're like really 40 minutes into it, and we've gotten so much accomplished with just the colors red, yellow, and blue. And now you know that you can make so many different tones with just those 2 colors alone, right? Just a little bit of that red violet down there. Let's put that back in there. Go all the way to the bottom of your canvas paper or pad. We're hitting a lot, hitting that easel. Okay. And how that color transitions into the foreground is that you're using the colors of your background, okay? You want to use the colors of your background all the time. Now let's see how we can get the background faded into the shadow. Keeping the same values as the other parts. Yeah. Okay. Nice and soft on the side edges. Using the tip of that brush And I highlight that color into that shadow. I'm gonna switch over brushes now. I'm gonna get my number 6 back again. I need some of this warmth with some yellow ochre and burnt sienna. All right, let's mix those two colors. Just for this light that's peeking behind that jar. Well, the oil. Keep it nice and even. Now earlier in that in our other video, you will see how we actually did that shadow. Now this here color is the red violet, and it really smooths nicely when you put that gel. Okay, so don't forget, add that gel. And my reference is right here where I can really see where the colors begin and the colors end, and the values end, darks and the lights. Right, I'm gonna get a little more blue violet, but not too much blue where it's so dark that we can't see that shadow. All right, trim it along this edge here where I really see. Yeah, that's where I see that shadow. Mm-hmm. There we go. I don't know how this shadow reaches around to this other side, but it really does. So it's sometimes best to paint what you see and paint what you know. Okay, I'm gonna get some more blue in that red and make me a blue violet now. All right, a blue violet is the casting shadow. It's not really much of it, is it? But it is one right there. Casting shadow, more blue, and that violet. Oh, kind of lost that shape. Let me get my shape back. That's gonna totally bother me, right? There we go. I have to get that shape back. Put more red violet right here. I got it. I think I got it. There we go. Mm-hmm. Okay. Got some more blue and red violet, some gel. If it glides smoothly. Oh, not enough red. Now what's going to happen, guys, is some of this yellow green is going to reflect in this shadow too. I'm not quite ready to make that yet, but it's going to be glazed on top of it, okay? Yep, that's what I'm doing. Red violet off to the left with a little bit of yellow ochre. Ugh, try not to make icky green. Burnt sienna. Let's try to burn sienna then. All right. Oh yeah, that's better. I'm making what would look like a surface, ending surface right there. Got too much blue. Because you'll notice when you get too much blue and with that red violet, because with that yellow ochre or that burnt sienna, it's going to give you a really, really icky looking green. And you're going to know it. Trust me, you are. You're like, oh no, that doesn't work. All right, make me some violet, some more violet over here. Let's get some more red. I'm using that red really faithfully, aren't I? And violet. I'm keeping my brush strokes pretty visible. Why not? Again, I like to have real, the realness of a, I like to have the realness of paint really showing in a work of art. The the brush strokes, the visible lines, the textures. It just really, I like that. And I want to paint with um, a concept of a photograph. I don't want to paint that I'm doing a photograph. I want to paint that I'm doing a painting, in other words. I wanted this surface, top surface here, to reflect some of these colors. Of the background, especially hitting to that shadow. So I'm gonna do the same thing on this other side. Let me not do that right there. Bringing that over just a smidget. More gel. If you want that to look transparent, grab you some gel. Burnt sienna. Usually I just noticed I don't have my music on. Usually have my music going. But not today. Now, what you don't have to worry about is not getting some of this olive oil color here into the background and or into the shadow. we're going to glaze that on really, really easily. Okay. I missed the corner right down here in the bottom. There we go. All right, that's enough right there. Really want to really do something to that edge here a little more. Edge of this lantern. And what I'm doing here is just touching up a little bit on that, on the lantern itself. A little more white. Right there. I'm trying to do is keep this background color through the glass. To keep it looking transparent. As transparent as possible. There's only one really, really bright spot. And it's here on on the parts of the lamp that pokes through. All right, now I am ready for my burnt umber. Okay, and that's 1 hour of the session, and so I'll come back in and do my burnt umbers with my blue to make this lampshade really the dark blacks of the actual still life here. So we have black and rustic black. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back in and we are going to put those burnt umber with the phthalo blue to make that black. And then we'll also go in and put our olive green, gorgeous blessed oil. And I hope that you guys got to really get in here and get your colors going and that nice glow. And we will see you later in the next part. Bye bye.